High atop a prominent ridge in the southeast Missouri community of Marble Hill sits a treasured piece of southeast Missouri history, Will Mayfield College. So influential was this institution during its lifetime that it's been reported at one time the name Will Mayfield College appeared on the transcripts of more educators and education administrators in Missouri than any other single school. When one thinks of the hundreds of lives influenced by just one teacher who graduated from Will Mayfield College, the effect is vast. Like a beloved friend from childhood who moved far away, Will Mayfield touched the hearts and lives of many during its lifetime. Yet as of 2020, only one living alumna remained. Having the distinction of being the last survivor who walked its hallways, Connie Bollinger Mayfield was there for many moments of its history.
That was a nice school. Yes, and me would be to go out in one thing because I was a shy little girl. Shy.
A wise person once said, without an ongoing effort to tell stories, they can be lost forever. Thanks to the work of Will Mayfield College alumna Mary L. Hopkins Hahn, an excellent summation of the school's history has been provided in her book, Bits of History, and more recently in the publication, Will Mayfield College, Looking Back, Looking Forward, written by Jeannie Troy Layton. Mary's words eloquently express the sentiment of many who walk the halls of Will Mayfield College. Of all the chapters in this book, without any doubt, the hardest to write is that which concerns the institution I like to think of as my alma mater, Will Mayfield College. In fact, it is somewhat like trying to write the obituary of a very dear friend who's gone on to the great beyond. Words are not adequate to express the deep emotions one feels at such a time. Nothing evokes nostalgia like the story of Will Mayfield College, the story of its humble beginnings and its struggling growth through the years. A sadder note is rung, however, when we think of its demise. Then we can only think of it as a blessing of the past. The story of Will Mayfield's humble beginnings is quite poignant. Doctors William H. Mayfield, a Baptist, with the support of his mentor while studying to be a physician, Dr. Henry J. Smith, very keenly saw the need for moral and religious culture through denominational education in this part of the state. They drew up a plan in February of 1878 and secured $1,100 for the school. The St. Francis Association of Baptist Churches unanimously adopted the plan presented, obtained additional funds, and assumed the ownership and control of the school. The name of the school was to be the Mayfield Smith Academy in honor of the two doctors. Dr. Smith, though not a Baptist, but a member of the Whitewater Presbyterian Church, helped Mayfield secure the money to build the school. While the schoolhouse was being built, the first classes were held in the building he owned in Smithville, now known as Sedgwickville, where he practiced medicine and had a pharmacy. This became the original site of the former Mayfield Smith Academy. When the first attempt to build a school failed due to storm damage, lack of adequate funds, and the death of Dr. Smith, the campus was moved to Marble Hill, where the school obtained 10 acres on a hill overlooking the Crooked Creek Valley in 1882. For a period of time, classes were held at the Baptist Church in Marble Hill and in the Marble Hill Public School. A brick building 30 by 60 feet, 2 stories high, with a capacity of 200 students, was begun on the 10-acre campus and completed in 2 years. This was the school's academic hall. Over 40 years later, a year after the dedication of the school's Arts and Science building, the 1928 yearbook, Ozark Glory, added the following inscription below the photograph of Academic Hall. Many new buildings will, we hope, come to grace our campus in the years to come, but none of them will ever hold the same loyalty and affection as old Academic Hall, which to hundreds will always mean Will Mayfield. Sessions began in Academic Hall in January 1885 with 83 pupils enrolled. There were 99 for the second session, and by 1886, the enrollment reached 115. In addition to providing classrooms, Academic Hall became headquarters for the school. As enrollment of students from outlying southeast Missouri counties as well as from Arkansas and Kentucky grew, the need for a girls' dormitory became evident. Rosemont Hall was completed in 1896, providing rooms for female students, extra classroom space in the basement, and a cafeteria which provided delicious food as well.
We had a big girls' dormitory then. My mother always gave me 20 cents every day for my lunch, and it was delicious. I didn't want to miss school because I didn't want to miss lunch.
Sadly, Rosemont Hall would be destroyed by fire in 1926, proving to be both an emotional and a financial setback for the school. Another complication resulting from the burning of Rosemont Hall had to do with the challenges of housing both young men and young women. Since girls could not live unaccompanied away from home at that time, the school administrators had to find lodging with various local families for the boys and move as many of the girls as they could into the men's dormitory, Franklin Hall. In 1903, the name of the institution was changed from the Mayfield Smith Academy to Will Mayfield College, as a memorial in recognition of Will, the son of Dr. William Henderson Mayfield and his wife, Ellen Catherine Seitz Mayfield. Will, their only surviving child, graduated with honors from the Academy in 1901, but sadly died a year later of consumption, or what would later be called tuberculosis. Professor A.F. Hendricks, affectionately referred to as Prof. Hendricks, was a longtime favorite of many. In 1925, when Will Mayfield College was at its peak, with more than 200 students enrolled, the school yearbook, Ozark Glory, summed up the feelings of many students by dedicating that volume to him and his wife with these words: To President and Mrs. A.F. Hendricks, the school's greatest benefactors and the students' closest friends. This volume is lovingly dedicated.
Every day, practically, he'd come up with his little car, He'd always have his arm out, waving us up to class.
Another alumna of the school, Verdetta Connors Hahn, reported that Prof. Hendricks was so well loved that when he left the school briefly for a sabbatical,
the whole student body followed him down to the Lutesville depot to see him off.
Other faculty members were loved as well.
Her name was Miss Gay. She was a science teacher, and she could have, they could choose someone to be their helper, and she chose me. She had a wonderful influence on me. But she was a very nice, kind person.
The college remained strong up until the late 1920s. The 1929 crash on Wall Street, combined with other financial difficulties the college faced, eventually forced Will Mayfield to cease operation in 1934. There were only 7 graduates in the last commencement exercise held in May of 1934. Following that, the college closed its doors forever. In a 2009 interview with Mrs. Wilma Kinder, one of the last students to attend there, she sadly stated,
I just know it was a lovely building, and it closed, and I did not get to finish there.
Following the closing of the school, the building sat empty for several years and fell into disrepair. Then, in 1941, they were bought by Lottie James Bollinger. In the following years, she and her family invested labor, money, and prayers into reversing years of neglect. They restored the 2 remaining buildings to use. In 1954, the L. Nathan home would begin a mission of residential care at the location that would be carried on by the family for another 55 years. Were it not for her faith and determination, it's possible that there would be no sign of the campus now. With encouragement from Missouri Baptist College and thanks to the efforts of Dr. Mayford Charles Warren and others, an alumni association was formed in the 1980s. Though not having gone there himself, Dr. Warren understood the wonderful contributions of the school when he stated,
Everyone that went to Will Mayfield College realized that education was going to improve their lives.
The Alumni Association was also instrumental in establishing a scholarship in honor of Will Mayfield College. Dr. Warren, along with Willard Dutch Estes, Herschel Bess, and others, formed a committee and coordinated efforts to raise money for the scholarship. As a result of the work of the Alumni Association, the scholarship they established has continued over the years, carrying on the memory of the school and its commitment to education. In 1984, thanks to the efforts of these men, and particularly those of Dr. Warren, the memorial stone was obtained at no charge through the generosity of Tom Oglesby, president of Keystone Memorials Incorporated in Elberton, Georgia. The memorial stone was dedicated during the Alumni Association meeting in October of 1984. Among those in attendance were over 100 Will Mayfield College alumni. It continues to stand today in honor of the college and its many alumni. In 1998, the enduring loyalty of the alumni and their families combined with the efforts of community leader Paul David Thomas to bring together a group of citizens interested in saving a piece of this local history. Restoration of the former Arts and Science Building, which had stood empty since the late 1970s, became the starting point for a community organization which grew into the Will Mayfield Heritage Foundation. With the support of a generous bequest of alumni Lawrence Doc Hahn and Mary, his wife, the foundation was able to lease the Arts and Science Building from L. Nathan. They began its restoration in 2000 and established the Bollinger County Museum of Natural History. 10 years later, at the closing of the L. Nathan home, a bequest to the foundation from the estate of Fred and Emma Jean Thomas made the purchase of Old Academic Hall, now Mayfield Hall, and the Arts and Science Building possible. The two buildings were listed on the National Register of Historic Places in 2013 as the Will Mayfield College campus. In 2012, under the leadership of Robert Bob Fulton, the foundation successfully applied for funding through the Neighborhood Assistance Program of the Missouri Department of Economic Development. This made possible the renovation of the former Academic Hall, now called Mayfield Hall. As a result of these ongoing efforts and gifts, the two remaining campus buildings have now been repurposed. The Arts and Sciences Building, purchased from the foundation by the Bollinger County Library District in 2018, continues to serve the community as the county library. Mayfield Hall is the home of the Bollinger County Museum of Natural History and the Will Mayfield Heritage Foundation Archives. When one thinks of the work of Dr. W.H. Mayfield and his dreams and aspirations that led to the development of Will Mayfield College, it is clear that he was a visionary in the truest sense of the word, a man ahead of his time to whom the area owes much gratitude. With great dignity, the buildings of Will Mayfield College continues to stand sentinel, watching over Marble Hill and all of Bollinger County, ready to tell their story to all who will listen. They are there to save our history and to guard our future. They tell us who we are and where we've been, combining both our treasured past and our dreams for the future. While Will Mayfield College may be gone forever, these words of Helen Keller explain clearly the significance of its memory.
What we once enjoyed, we can never lose. All that we love deeply becomes a part of us.